Welcome, dear friend. As you settle into this moment, into this space of rest and renewal, I want you to know that you are exactly where you need to be. Take a deep breath in, slowly, gently. Hold it for a moment, and release, letting go of everything you've been carrying today. Tonight, we explore one of the most profound and liberating teachings in all of Buddhist wisdom, the art of choosing yourself, especially when it feels like no one else does. This is not selfishness. This is not ego. This is the sacred recognition that you are worthy of your own love, your own compassion, your own unwavering presence. Let your body sink deeper into the surface beneath you. Feel the weight of your head on the pillow, heavy and supported. Feel your shoulders dropping, releasing tension you didn't even know you were holding. With each breath, you're coming home to yourself, returning to the one relationship that will last your entire life, the relationship with your own being. Part 1. The Buddha's own journey of self-choice. 26 centuries ago, a prince named Siddhartha faced a choice that would change not only his life, but the spiritual landscape of humanity. He had everything the world said should make him happy: wealth, status, a beautiful wife, a newborn son, palaces designed to shield him from suffering. Yet he felt empty, restless, incomplete. One night, he made a choice that no one understood. He chose himself. He chose truth over comfort. He chose awakening over approval. He left his palace, his family, his entire identity behind. People called him selfish. They said he abandoned his responsibilities. They couldn't understand why someone with everything would walk away. But Siddhartha knew something profound. He couldn't truly serve anyone, couldn't truly love anyone, couldn't truly be present for anyone until he found truth for himself. He had to choose his own liberation before he could help others find theirs. This is the first teaching. Choosing yourself is not abandonment of others. It's the necessary foundation for authentic connection, genuine love, and real service. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give what you don't have. You must choose yourself first. Breathe into this truth now. Feel it settling into your heart. You are not selfish for needing rest, for setting boundaries, for saying no, for walking away from what drains you. You are wise. You are honoring the sacred truth that your well-being matters, not just to you, but to everyone your life touches. After years of seeking, after nearly dying from extreme asceticism, Siddhartha made another crucial choice. He chose the middle way. He chose to stop punishing himself. He accepted food from a kind woman, even though his fellow seekers abandoned him for this weakness. He chose self-compassion over self-destruction. And then, sitting beneath a tree, he made the ultimate choice. He chose to sit with himself completely, to face everything within without running, without distraction, without escape. He chose radical self-honesty. And in that choosing, in that complete acceptance of himself exactly as he was, he awakened. The Buddha's enlightenment was born from choosing himself, not the self of ego and craving, but his true self, his Buddha nature, his inherent worthiness. This is what he taught for the remaining 45 years of his life, that you are already worthy, already complete, already enough. You just need to recognize it, to choose it, to live from it. Part 2. The poison of seeking approval. In Buddhist teaching, there are 3 poisons that cause suffering: greed, hatred, and delusion. But there's a subtle poison that often goes unnoticed: the desperate need for others' approval, for external validation, for someone else to tell you that you're okay, you're worthy, you're enough. These are human needs, not problems in themselves. The poison enters when you make others' approval the condition for your own self-worth, when you need someone else to choose you before you can choose yourself, when you abandon yourself, betray your own needs, silence your own truth in order to gain acceptance from others. Think about the times you've twisted yourself into shapes that weren't you, trying to fit into spaces that weren't meant for you. Think about the times you've silenced your voice because you feared judgment. Think about the moments you've ignored your own needs because someone else's seemed more important. This is the poison working, and it creates immense suffering. Not the suffering of physical pain, but the deep, aching suffering of self-betrayal, of abandoning yourself, of choosing everyone else except the one person who will be with you every moment of your life, you. Buddhist wisdom teaches that this poison comes from a fundamental misunderstanding, the belief that your worth comes from outside yourself, that you need to earn love, that you're not inherently valuable. This belief is the delusion, the fundamental ignorance that Buddhism seeks to dispel. The truth is simpler and more liberating. Your worth is intrinsic. It doesn't depend on what you do, what you achieve, who you love, or who approves you. You are worthy because you exist. Your Buddha nature, your essential goodness, your fundamental okayness, these are not achievements, they are your birthright. Let this sink into your bones now. You don't need anyone's permission to be worthy. You don't need anyone's approval to matter. You don't need anyone's validation to be enough. You already are all of these things, have always been, will always be. Release the burden of seeking approval. Let it fall away like a heavy coat you no longer need. Feel how exhausting it's been, constantly monitoring how others see you, constantly adjusting yourself to gain acceptance, constantly abandoning yourself to belong. You can rest now. You can stop performing. You can stop proving. You already belong to yourself, to life, to existence. This belonging cannot be taken away because it was never given by anyone else. It simply is. Part 3. The practice of loving kindness towards yourself. In Buddhist practice, there's a meditation called metta, or loving kindness. Traditionally, you start by directing love towards yourself, then expand it outward to others. But many people find this first step the hardest. They can easily wish happiness for others, but struggle to wish it for themselves. This reveals something important. Many of us have been trained to prioritize everyone else's well-being above our own. We've learned that self-love is selfish, that putting ourselves first is wrong, that our needs don't matter as much as others' needs. But the Buddha placed self-directed loving kindness first for a reason. He understood that genuine love for others must be rooted in love for yourself. Otherwise, your love for others becomes a subtle form of self-abandonment, a way to earn worth, a transaction rather than a true gift. So let's practice now, here in the safety of this moment. Place your hand on your heart if you'd like. Feel the warmth of your own hand, the steady beat of your own heart. This heart has been beating for you before you were born, keeping you alive without you even asking, never taking a break, never giving up on you. Say silently to yourself, "May I be happy." Don't force feeling. Don't judge if it feels strange or uncomfortable. Just offer the words to yourself like a gift. May I be happy. May I be healthy. Your body has carried you through everything, every joy, every sorrow, every challenge. It deserves your kindness, your appreciation, your care. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. May you stop struggling against yourself. May you stop being your own harshest critic. May you find the ease that comes from self-acceptance. Feel these words settling into your being. You're not trying to create feelings that aren't there. You're simply planting seeds, offering yourself the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. Over time, with practice, these seeds will grow into a garden of genuine self-love. The Buddha taught that you can search the entire universe and not find anyone more deserving of your love than yourself. not because you're better than others, but because you're not less than others. You deserve the same unconditional kindness, the same patience, the same forgiveness you offer to those you love. This is radical in a culture that teaches self-criticism as motivation, self-denial as virtue, self-sacrifice as love. But the Buddha's way is different. Choose yourself first, love yourself fully, and from that fullness, you'll have authentic love to share with others. Part 4. Letting go of relationships that drain you. One of the hardest practices in choosing yourself is letting go of relationships where you're not chosen, not valued, not seen. This might be friendships that have become one-sided, romantic relationships where love isn't reciprocated, family dynamics where you're constantly criticized, or professional situations where you're undervalued. Buddhist wisdom teaches about non-attachment, but this is often misunderstood. Non-attachment doesn't mean not caring. It means not clinging, not grasping, not trying to force connections that aren't naturally flowing. It means having the wisdom to recognize when something has ended and the courage to let it go. There's a Zen story about a monk carrying a woman across a river. He sets her down on the other side and continues his journey with his companion. Hours later, his companion is still agitated, saying, "We're not supposed to touch women." The monk replies, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story isn't about the woman. It's about the weight of carrying what no longer serves us, what we should have released long ago. How many relationships are you still carrying long after they ended? How many situations are you clutching even as they hurt you? How many people are you trying to hold on to who have already let go? The practice of letting go isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. It's about honoring reality. It's about choosing truth over fantasy, clarity over delusion, self-respect over self-abandonment. When someone shows you through their actions that you're not a priority, believe them. When a relationship consistently drains more than it nourishes, acknowledge it. When you're giving everything and receiving nothing, face it. This doesn't make them bad people. This doesn't make you unworthy. It simply means the connection isn't mutually supportive, and clinging to it creates suffering for everyone involved. The kindest thing you can do for yourself and for them is to let go with grace. Imagine holding a bird in your hands. If you grip too tightly, you'll hurt it. If you hold it too loosely, it will fly away. But if you open your hands completely and the bird chooses to stay, then you know it wants to be there. And if it flies away, then you know it needed freedom more than it needed you. This is the practice with relationships. Open your hands, release your grip, stop forcing, stop chasing, stop convincing. If someone wants to be in your life, they will be. If they don't, no amount of trying will change that. And trying only abandons yourself in service of a connection that doesn't truly exist. Feel into your body now. Where are you holding tension from relationships that aren't working? Where are you carrying the weight of trying to make something work that has already dissolved? Breathe into those places. With each exhale, practice releasing, letting go, opening your grip. You might feel sadness. That's okay. Grief is the price of love, and letting go of what we hoped for hurts. But on the other side of that grief is freedom. Freedom to choose relationships that choose you back. Connections where you're valued, situations where your presence is appreciated rather than tolerated. Part 5. The freedom of walking away. There's tremendous power in walking away, not from responsibility, not from commitment, not from challenges that help you grow, but from situations that diminish you, relationships that deplete you, environments that make you smaller rather than larger. Walking away is often seen as giving up, as failure, as weakness, But sometimes walking away is the strongest, wisest, most courageous thing you can do. It takes more strength to walk away from what's familiar than to stay in comfortable suffering. It takes more courage to choose the unknown than to remain in known misery. The Buddha walked away from his palace. He walked away from everything his society said should make him happy. And in that walking away, he found freedom. Not because the palace was bad, but because it wasn't his true path. He had to leave what others wanted for him to discover what he truly was. You too have the right to walk away. From jobs that crush your spirit, from relationships that diminish your light, from places that don't honor who you are, from expectations that were never yours to carry. You have the right to choose differently, even if others don't understand, even if they judge you, even if they feel hurt or angry. Your life is yours to live, not your parents' life for you to perform, not your partner's fantasy for you to fulfill, not society's script for you to follow. Yours. This precious, brief, unrepeatable life is yours, and you get to choose how to live it. Walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care about truth more than comfort. It means you value authenticity more than approval. It means you choose growth over stagnation, even when growth is painful. There's a beautiful teaching in Buddhism about the middle way, the path between extreme indulgence and extreme denial. Walking away is part of this middle way. You're not running from all difficulty or challenge. You're simply saying no to situations that harm you, that have no purpose in your growth, that keep you stuck in suffering. Sometimes you'll walk away and discover it was exactly right. You'll feel lighter, freer, more yourself. Sometimes you'll walk away and wonder if you made a mistake. You'll feel doubt, fear, regret. But even when walking away feels scary, even when you're not sure, trust that choosing yourself is never wrong. Your intuition knows. Your body knows. That feeling in your gut, that tightness in your chest, that exhaustion that won't lift, these are messages. Listen to them. Honor them. Let them guide you toward what serves your highest good and away from what doesn't. As you breathe now, scan your life for places where you need to walk away. Not necessarily physically leaving, but energetically releasing, mentally letting go, emotionally detaching. Where have you been staying out of guilt, fear, obligation, or habit? Where have you been waiting for permission to leave? Give yourself that permission now.
Part 6. The Loneliness of Choosing Yourself. Let's speak honestly about something many spiritual teachers skip. Choosing yourself can be lonely. When you stop people-pleasing, you lose people who only liked your pleasing. When you set boundaries, you lose people who benefited from your lack of them. When you honor your truth, you lose people who preferred your pretending. This loneliness is real, and it hurts. Don't spiritually bypass this pain by pretending it doesn't matter or you've transcended caring. You're human. Connection matters. Belonging matters. Being seen and valued matters. And when you choose yourself and others turn away, it hurts. But there's an important distinction the Buddha taught, the difference between painful and suffering. Pain is inevitable. Loss hurts. Rejection stings. Loneliness aches. But suffering is what we add to pain through our resistance, our stories, our desperate attempts to avoid feeling what we feel. You can feel the pain of loneliness without the suffering of "there's something wrong with me," or "I'll always be alone," or "I made a mistake choosing myself." The pain is clean. The suffering is the story you tell about the pain. And here's what the Buddha understood. The loneliness of choosing yourself is temporary, but the suffering of abandoning yourself is permanent. When you betray yourself to keep others, you carry that betrayal every moment. You live in constant disconnection from your own truth. You become a stranger to yourself. The loneliness of choosing yourself is actually a sacred solitude, a necessary passage. It's the space between releasing what wasn't real and allowing what is real to emerge. It's the winter before the spring, the darkness before the dawn, the emptiness that must exist before something new can grow. In this sacred solitude, you're not actually alone. You're finally meeting yourself, perhaps for the first time. You're developing the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with your own being. You're learning that you can be good company for yourself, that you don't need constant external validation to feel okay. The Buddha spent years in solitude before his enlightenment. Jesus spent 40 days in the desert. Muhammad retreated to a cave. Every great spiritual teacher understood, sometimes you must be alone to discover that you're never alone, that there's a presence within you, a Buddha nature, a divine spark, a fundamental okayness that doesn't depend on anyone else being there. Feel into this presence now. Beneath the loneliness, beneath the longing for connection, there's a stillness, a peace, a quiet knowing. It's been there all along, waiting for you to notice. It doesn't come and go based on who's in your life. It doesn't fluctuate based on who chooses you. It simply is, constant and unwavering. This is your true refuge, your real home. And once you find it, once you stabilize in it, then connections with others become enrichment rather than necessity, companionship rather than completion, sharing rather than seeking. The people who are meant for you will understand you're choosing yourself. They'll respect your boundaries, honor your truth, celebrate your growth. They won't make you feel guilty for having needs or wrong for setting limits. They'll meet you in your authenticity rather than demanding your performance. These are your people. And they'll come not when you're desperately seeking them, but when you've stopped abandoning yourself. Like attracts like. Wholeness attracts wholeness. When you choose yourself, you magnetize others who choose themselves and who will genuinely choose you. Part 7. Releasing the fantasy of what could have been. One of the deepest attachments we carry is not to what is, but to what we hoped would be. The fantasy of the relationship that would finally work, the dream of the parent who would finally approve, the hope that if you just tried harder, gave more, became better, then finally you'd be chosen, valued, loved the way you long to be. This fantasy is suffering's favorite hiding place. Because the fantasy isn't real, you can never test it against reality. You can keep believing if only they understood me, if only I had explained better, if only I had been more patient, if only circumstances were different. The fantasy lives in that if-only space, always just out of reach, keeping you hoping, waiting, trying. Buddhist teaching is clear. Attachment to outcomes, especially outcomes you cannot control, is a primary source of suffering. You cannot control whether someone chooses you. You cannot control whether someone sees your worth. You cannot control whether someone's capacity matches your need. These are beyond your power. What is within your power is choosing yourself regardless, valuing yourself whether or not others do, seeing your own worth even when others are blind to it. This is the practice, not changing external circumstances, but changing your relationship to them. Releasing the fantasy doesn't mean you didn't try. It doesn't mean giving up hope in general. It means accepting reality as it is right now, in this moment, without the filter of what you wish it would be. This person as they actually are, not as you hope they'll become. This situation as it actually is, not as you need it to be. There's a profound relief in this release. The exhausting work of maintaining the fantasy can finally stop. The constant mental gymnastics of explaining away behavior that hurts you, justifying treatment that diminishes you, hoping for change that never comes, all of it can be set down. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with all your fantasies and hopes about how things should be. Every day you climb the mountain of your life, carrying this weight, getting more exhausted, wondering why the journey is so hard. What if you could set down the backpack, not give up on joy or connection or love, but release the specific attachments to particular outcomes with particular people? Feel yourself setting it down now. That relationship you keep hoping will change, set it down. That person you keep waiting to see you, set them down. That version of your life where everyone finally approves of your choices, set it down. Not with bitterness or resignation, but with gentle acceptance of what is. In the space created by this release, something new becomes possible. Not the fantasy you were clinging to, but something real, something authentic, something actually available. Maybe it's a different relationship, a different path, a different version of fulfillment. Maybe it's just peace, just presence, just being okay with what is. The Buddha taught that craving is the root of suffering, not desire itself, but the desperate clinging, the demanding that reality be different than it is. When you release the fantasy, you're not killing hope, you're killing suffering. You're choosing reality over illusion, truth over comfort familiar pain.
Part 8. Your inherent worth. Let's come to the heart of Buddhist wisdom on choosing yourself, the teaching of Buddha nature. This is the revolutionary idea that you have inherent worth, not earned worth. You are not valuable because of what you do, what you achieve, who loves you, or what you contribute. You are valuable because you are. Your Buddha nature, your essential goodness, your fundamental okayness is not contingent. It doesn't depend on conditions. It can't be increased by success or decreased by failure. It can't be granted by approval or taken away by rejection. It simply is, like the sun behind clouds, always there, whether visible or not. This teaching contradicts almost everything your culture taught you. You learned that worth must be earned through achievement, proven through success, validated through others' recognition. You learned that you're only as good as your last accomplishment, only as valuable as your current usefulness, only as worthy as others' opinions of you. But the Buddha taught something radical. You were worthy before you achieved anything, before you proved anything, before anyone validated you. A baby doesn't need to earn the right to exist. A flower doesn't need to justify its blooming. The stars don't need permission to shine, and neither do you. This worth is your birthright, your inheritance, your fundamental nature, not because you're special, but because you're not less than anyone else. Every being has Buddha nature. Every person has inherent worth, including you, especially you when you feel most unworthy. The times you feel most worthless, most rejected, most alone, these are the times when remembering your Buddha nature is most crucial. Not as a spiritual concept to make yourself feel better, but as a truth to anchor in. You are not your circumstances. You are not others' opinions. You are not your mistakes or failures. You are the awareness experiencing all of this, and that awareness is inherently worthy. Place your hand on your heart again. Feel yourself breathing. This simple fact that you're alive, that you're conscious, that you're aware, this is enough. You don't need to add anything to your existence to make it worthwhile. The universe has already voted on your worth by bringing you into being. Think about it. Against astronomical odds, you exist. Your parents met out of all possible people. Their genetic combination created you, unique among billions. You survived birth, childhood, countless dangers and challenges. You're still here, still breathing, still experiencing this moment. That alone is miraculous. And beyond the miracle of your physical existence is the greater miracle of your consciousness. You don't just exist, you know you exist. You don't just experience, you're aware of experiencing. This awareness, this consciousness, this Buddha nature, this is what you truly are, and it is inherently, unquestionably, eternally worthy. No one can give you this worth, so no one can take it away. No one can grant you your Buddha nature, so no one can revoke it. It's not up for vote, not subject to approval, not dependent on anyone's recognition. It simply is. You simply are, and that is enough. Let this truth settle deep into your being. You are enough. You have always been enough. You will always be enough. Not because you've achieved enough, but because enoughness is your nature. You don't have to become worthy. You have to recognize the worth that has always been yours. Closing. The return home. As we come to the end of this journey, bring your awareness back to your breath. Notice how it's slowed, how it's deepened, how your body has released and relaxed. You've been traveling through these teachings, but really you've been traveling back to yourself. Choosing yourself is not a destination you arrive at once and forever. It's a practice, a daily returning, a continuous commitment. Some days it will be easy. Some days it will be hard. Some days you'll forget and abandon yourself again. And that's okay. That's human. That's the practice. What matters is that you keep returning, keep choosing, keep coming home to yourself again and again and again. Each time you choose yourself, each boundary you set, each truth you speak, each time you honor your needs, each moment you refuse to abandon yourself for someone else's approval, you're strengthening this practice. You're learning that you can survive others' disappointment. You can handle others' judgment. You can bear being misunderstood. And on the other side of that fear, you find something precious. Yourself, your truth, your authenticity, your freedom. The Buddha's final words were, "Be a lamp unto yourself." Don't wait for someone else to light your way. Don't depend on others to validate your path. You are your own lamp, your own light, your own home. You have everything you need within you to navigate this life with wisdom, courage, and compassion. So tonight, as you drift into sleep, rest in this knowing. You are choosing yourself, not against others, but for yourself. Not in selfishness, but in wisdom. Not abandoning love, but honoring the truth that you cannot truly love others until you love yourself. May you sleep peacefully, knowing you are enough. May you wake tomorrow ready to choose yourself again. May you walk through your life with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth doesn't depend on anyone else's recognition. You are worthy. You are valuable. You are enough. Not because I say so, but because it's true. It has always been true. It will always be true. Rest now in this truth. Let it hold you as you sleep. Let it nourish you as you dream. Let it be the ground you stand on when you wake. Welcome home. Welcome to yourself. Welcome to the peace of choosing you. Good night, dear friend. You are loved. You are worthy. You are enough.